Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blockbusters show. I'm Adam Sykes, and today we're going to be looking at another E.T. knockoff on the show. First we did Mac and Me, then we did Nuki, and now we're doing Pod People. Just like with Mac and Me and Nuki, I would read the IMDb description like I always do for these videos, but the thing is, you basically get the gist of it. It's an E.T. ripoff, but there's a slight variation here in that it's got horror elements to it. The movie begins with a group of poachers who are going around the woods very early in the morning. It's all foggy and stuff, and they establish that these poachers, they aren't very good guys. Obviously, they're trying to hunt game and kill animals and just being general douches. And one guy walks off and goes into a cave where he finds a bunch of different eggs, which of course turn out to be aliens, and he ends up dying. The thing is, the poachers are just one of many subplots that are going to be fighting over the attention of the audience for the rest of the movie. The next batch of characters we get are a small family that live in the woods. We have a little boy named Tommy who loves animals and loves collecting specimens all around the forest, his overprotective mother, and his crotchety old grandpa. Tommy wanders through the woods to try and find specimens, and he comes across the cave and he takes one of the eggs back with him, kind of just ignoring the fact that there's a dead body in there. And while Tommy takes the egg to raise it as his own, we then cut over to the city where we see a small ragtag team of young people who are musicians, and they're recording their next big hit single. And I would love to assume that in a world where this movie actually did become a hit, that would probably be the big Billboard pop song soundtrack seller for the movie, is the classic song from this film, Hear the Engines Roll Now. There's so much about this scene that is awesome, I just don't know where to start. I mean, you got the actual song itself, which is repetitive, but the beat is actually legitimately catchy, and it actually makes it kind of worth listening to. Absolute corniness of the people singing it, they are exactly what you expect some kind of like weird 80s group of young people to. These people look like they're the main characters of some shitty straight-to-video horror movie. Oh wait. I think my favorite thing about this whole scene is the fact that there's a guy in the recording studio wearing this t-shirt. It's like when you're watching notoriously bad movies like Troll 2 or The Room or something, and you're like, wait, why is that there? Like in The Room, you're like, why are there pictures of spoons all over the living room set? And in the same vein, you just have to ask yourself, why is that guy wearing a t-shirt declaring that he's a virgin? Just why? And we're probably never gonna get an answer. You're probably wondering, how's this ragtag team of young people tie into the rest of the movie? Well, first let's introduce them. We got the main singer guy, Rick, Brian, and then we got the three chicks, one of which is Brian's girlfriend, one of which is Rick's girlfriend, and then we got the slutty one, who loves to have sex with anything in sight. Throw in a stereotypical fat redneck dude and a stereotypical nerdy guy, you basically have the main cast of Thanksgiving. The reason that they tie into all this is because they're going to be spending that weekend in that exact forest where the poachers and Tommy and his family are going to be, along with this one chick who Rick's girlfriend is suspecting him of cheating on her with, and for some again, with the weird costumes, for some reason she's dressed up like a Native American, again with the Thanksgiving connection. What is up with that?
Sharon! What's got into that bitch?
They decide they'll be nice. They decide that they'll let her tag along, even though they're pretty obvious in the fact that they don't like her and don't want her to be there. So why didn't they just kick her out of their Winnebago before they even took off on this little weekend trip? Then all of our subplots finally start to cross paths, as when they're out and having a picnic in the woods on a very overcast day, seriously, every time everyone is outside in this movie, it looks like it's going to rain. That's beside the point. They make this girl cry as she then gets up and runs away, and one thing leads to another. The two poachers that are still alive end up scaring her, and she ends up falling to her death. And they try to take the body, but then they immediately nix it and just leave, and then they come across the body, they take it to the Winnebago, and they try to take it to somewhere where hopefully they can get help, and this is how they end up running into Tommy and his family. They bring up park rangers that can hopefully help, so they say, oh, well, it's late out, even though it looks like it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Crotchety old grandpa's like, yeah, sure, we can take you to the rangers and help with your friend. But my favorite thing is, crotchety old grandpa was so quick to be like, oh, no, yeah, we're not going to let you in our house. And then Tommy's mom is like, no, 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 let them in. A little bit later into the movie, we see the poachers, and it's late at night, and they come across the alien, one of the two main aliens, and it just kills them both right then and there. And this is basically where you could tell that this is one movie that basically got stitched into another movie. What I mean by that is, while you have one alien that's going around killing people, you then have the alien that's in the egg that Tommy's taking care of, and through some very clunky editing, it then just grows spontaneously to about the same age and the same height and same width as the other alien that you see. While the other alien is bad, this alien that Tommy dubs Trumpy is good, and he does magical space things, like he does a thing with a Simon machine, and he makes clothes fly out of the closet, like stop motion effects. Here's what I mean by two movies getting stitched together. You have the whole thing with the alien that's going around killing people, and then you got the E.T. type of situation where you got Tommy and Trumpy, and they're, you know, doing their kid-friendly stuff together. You can definitely tell that this movie was intended to be a horror film, like all the way through. But then clearly E.T. must have gotten really popular at that time, and they went, wait a second, we can capitalize on this. We got another alien movie that's really big at the box office right now, but the alien is friendly. So what we'll do is we'll interject that, and we'll have these two different stories put together into one movie. And it really feels like awkward and clunky. It's definitely like when you're watching a movie that had last-minute rewrites and reshoots and all that kind of stuff. That's definitely what it comes across as. Makes you wonder what the full movie would have looked like if it actually was just nothing but the killer alien story and they didn't have all the cutesy stuff with the kid and Trumpy. Crap, it's that time of the video. This is the part where the reviewer is supposed to make some kind of funny comment like, oh, the alien's name is Trumpy, relevant satire of Donald Trump. It's so funny. Well, guess what? Mystery Science Theater 3000 already beat all of us to it. So anyone that wants to make some kind of Trump joke in relation to this movie, you're too fucking late. Guess what? That show from the 90s that made fun of this movie long before any of us did, they beat us to it. They made the Trump joke even before Trump was president, so got him, bazinga. So what happens after that is they actually do go to the Rangers, but oh no, the Rangers are dead, and the poachers are dead, and it's because of the evil alien that's on the loose. And at one point, Tommy, who's all throughout the movie is just told to stay up in his room because of his overprotective mother, he at one point sees the evil alien and mistakes it for Trumpy because it kills one of the girls who's doing something in the Winnebago. And while the crotchety old grandpa and Brian are out, they see the alien, and Tommy obviously knows that aliens are real because he's been hanging out with Trumpy. He talks to Trumpy, and Trumpy basically just lets him know that it wasn't him and that there's some other evil alien that's part of the same species. You get these scenes of Rick and the crotchety old man constantly fighting. A shot is even shot off, and it cuts to like Tommy and Trumpy, and it cuts to the girls, who I love this. One of them says, I heard a shot, and one of the girls is like, oh, you must have been dreaming.
Wake up, Kathy.
Oh, what's going on?
I don't know, I heard a shot.
A shot? You must have been dreaming.
You must have been dreaming. Like, one of your friends, several of your friends, are dead, and you hear a gunshot, and you're like, oh, you know, just have been dreaming, I guess. One of the two surviving girls then gets killed by the evil alien, and then the evil alien waddles off into the night, and Rick and the old man decide they're going to try and take it head on. Meanwhile, Trumpy finally waddles out and reveals himself to everybody there, and then we get the whole, you know, Tommy tries to tell the adults, no, Trumpy's not evil, he's not a bad guy, but then everybody ends up running out into the early morning. The point is they're outside and it's really foggy and dark out. While they're fighting the bad alien, the grandpa gets killed, and then Rick successfully shoots the bad alien, who self-buries himself in what's actually a really good effect for this movie. Then we get the old Yeller moment where Tommy tries to tell Trumpy that he really loves him, but he needs to go away and never see him again. And then he pulls the, I hate you. I hate you. Just get out of here, you stupid, dumb animal. Editing on that's really weird. You have this really soft, sweet scene of him telling him that he loves him. And then you cut to like people looking for Tommy. Tommy, where are you? Immediately cuts to him. And he's just like, go away, Trumpy. I hate you. So the movie ends with Tommy being reunited with the rest of the survivors. I guess Rick now knows that not all aliens are evil because he saw Tommy and Trumpy talking to each other. So I guess he knows that not all aliens were bad, I guess. And then the last thing we see in the movie is Trumpy walking off into the sunrise all alone with sad music playing. This movie is bad, but honestly, out of the 3 E.T. knockoffs, I don't think it's worse than Nuki. And I'm more than positive that Nuki is actually on that list as well. Nuki I could definitely see being on top 100 worst movies of all time on IMDb, but I don't know if I could see this movie. I feel like the only reason this movie is on that list is because it was on MST3K. Because this movie's bad, but it's bad in the way that it's confusingly bad, specifically because of that tonal confusion that I brought up earlier. It feels like if they stuck with the whole evil alien, killer alien in the woods thing, the movie would have been way more consistent. But as it stands, it feels weird in the fact that you have 2 drastically different movie concepts in the same film. It definitely feels like that whole thing I mentioned earlier about like rewrites and reshoots because, oh, E.T. was popular. It just goes to show that not everything can be a Reese's scenario of, oh, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter, you got your peanut butter in my chocolate, and it makes something really great. Instead, no, you get a movie that's really tonally confused with the killer alien, and then you got the friendly alien hanging out with the kid. And it just comes off really bizarre. There are things about this movie that I could actually see being good. Like the songs, the soundtrack, I actually don't think is that bad. And the effects, there are some effects, there's some effects that are very cheesy and dated, but there's some effects that are actually like, whoa, even for a low budget movie from the 80s, that's actually not that bad. Compared to the other 2 E.T. ripoffs that we talked about on the show, it's way better than Nuki. I mean, as inconsistent as this movie was not 100 minutes of stupid bullshit like Nuki. While it is better than Nuki by a long shot, I still feel like it's not as funny bad as Mac and Me. Mac and Me, as bad as it is at least so bad it's funny. And this definitely has moments of that. I mean, just watch the MST3K episode. I still feel like it doesn't have as many standout so bad it's funny moments. Like, Mac and Me is one of those movies like The Room or, examples of stuff we've done on the show like Birdemic or Cool Cat. People know about how, like, notoriously shitty it is, and people will love to watch them because of that. So yeah, not as so bad it's funny as Mac and Me, but galaxies above Nuki. So that's why Pod People just gets placed in the middle in terms of E.T. knockoffs that we've talked about for this show. That is the last Blockbusters video for the month. Stay tuned to the next episode because that is going to be done between both me and Chris T. Ian of The Captivating Christian. We're going to be doing a video together. It's actually going to kind of segue into the big summer events that we've got planned for Blockbusters. It's going to be Jim Carrey lists, sequels, / ripoffs, / remakes, / whatever. And before we look at the 3 big titans all throughout the summer, which is going to be Ace Ventura Jr., Dumb and Dumberer, and Son of the Mask. We're going to start with the lesser of all evils, and me and Chris are going to be looking at Evan Almighty, which is the Jim Carrey-less sequel to Bruce Almighty. And the reason Chris is going to be involved in that is because religious movies, that and because he hasn't put out a video and he felt like, doing a collab would be an easy way to get attention. Or I probably shouldn't have said that. You guys should probably cut that out of the video before people actually know. You know what? If this footage is going to get cut out, might as well just say it. Fuck you, Chris T. Ian. Anyways, guys, look forward to that video. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. Until then, I'm Adam Sykes of The Blockbusters Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.
It stinks.